What's up, guys? Welcome to another exciting edition of Real Estate Podcast, episode 380. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trev.
And I'm here with Adam.
And this week we watched Borderlands. I actually watched this like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I got no,
But,
I got no snazzy intro for this one.
I wasn't gonna do no brush up on it. One was enough.
Man, like
Eli Roth, man.
well, dude, it sucks that we're finally getting into that that transitional period where it's like, oh, we can actually do video game movie adaptations, and then it's like this comes out, and I'm like, maybe we're not ready.
Pump the brakes. Let's
That
pump the
Minecraft
brakes
movie on
on
the back
that.
burner.
Yeah,
Steve.
yeah.
You make you an awesome blade. Nah. This was like the $5 bargain bin like Suicide Squad B movie that you find.
Well, I mean, if it would have pulled more from James Gunn's Suicide Squad, then it would have been a lot better. Like, I mean, I know exactly what you mean with it because like James Gunn has the same like comedic style that the Borderlands franchise has. But
No, I'm talking about David Ayer, bro.
oh,
I'm not referencing the good Suicide Squad.
I got you.
Yeah, like it was. I don't know. Like how many? Well, I mean, God bless Kate Blanchett. I guess she tried her best. Why the fuck was Kevin Hart there?
Why the fuck was he there?
Dude, why? Like, I don't understand. Honestly, okay, so in the first Borderlands game, and I know like I've been pretty good about splitting, source material with adaptations. I feel like I've done a decent job at that. But like in the first game, you start the game on Pandora and you're a vault hunter. And there's this rumored vault that's supposed to have this incredible, technology and weapons in it. And through the whole first game, you're meeting all these wacky characters and getting in all these different skirmishes and things like that. And, experiencing the world of Pandora, what Pandora has to offer, while also trying to find this vault. And that was the genius of the story, was making it so simple. And then the second game comes out, and then it's a little bit more involved. At the end of the first game, they open the vault up, and there's that creature, and we see the creature in the movie where it's like got all those tentacles and stuff, and the creature was in it, and it's like, oh, the vault, it was all a lie. Like the vault existed, but there wasn't anything in there. And a lot of people theorize that like the creature was the power, all this kind of stuff. And then the second game comes around, and it adds more story into the world with Handsome Jack, and like there's more vaults around, things like this. But like Atlas and Hyperion and all these weapon manufacturers were a huge part of the game, but they weren't directly involved for the most part in anything that happened on Pandora. Like, and it's kind of weird, the choices that, like, to me, it's like someone read the synopsis of the Borderlands games and was like, okay, we're going to try to do that, but we're going to write our own story doing that.
Well,
And it didn't land.
Well, to me, it was just someone saw the aesthetic of it and was like, let's just write like a classic treasure hunt movie and not do anything innovative to it.
Well, dude, that's fine. If they would have done the traditional treasure hunt movie with the same humor and with the same over the topness that the games have, it would have been great. It would have been perfect. It would have been a Borderlands movie.
No, but I'm talking like the shitty rendition, like the same tired out, almost kids movie, but masked with the violence of the Borderlands. game
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, we got to go we're on this quest to find this MacGuffin. And while we're there, we're going to have really shitty exposition. And then because I felt like watching M. Night Shyamalan this week, we're going to make the twist be no, it's going to be old, young, don't know, kind of weird. Kate Blanchett's the hero of the movie suddenly.
Yeah, which was a bad choice in my opinion because like I haven't played the third game, but like Kate Blanchett doesn't become like a god. Lilith
The
doesn't become a
Firehawk shit
god.
was that was lame as fuck, man. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you can fly, and then it's like, okay, cool. Let's just throw some particle effects at the screen. Because the
And
thing
like
about like I've said ad nauseum, these CGI movies, in order for the CGI to me to be appreciated and make sense, there needs to be some level of like reason and like a well written build up as to why these things that whenever things all flashy and ridiculous, it makes sense and you're like, okay, within the context of the movie, you know? But this was just like one really long, just snooze fest, man. It was boring. And that's not even necessarily, I don't have any complaints or anything like, because as far as a video game, it looked like the fucking video game. Maybe it didn't tell the story like the game did or whatever. Don't really care. And I know that, like, I know a lot of people were really bummed out by it. But aesthetically, like, the world of Pandora looked cool. Would have liked to have known more about it.
yeah.
Other than Kate Blanchett just fucking hates it there because she grew up there.
Well, and it's like they kind of like morphed like Lilith and Tiny Tina's backs like characters together in a weird way because like in the game Tina was just a kid that lived on Pandora by herself and like her being around all of that stuff made her insane. Like she's an insane person. Um Lilith comes to the planet and she's part of like a different race or a different group of beings in the universe that have these special powers. She's a Cylon or whatever, a siren, whatever they call them. So it's kind of like they mix those two things together. And I thought what they were originally doing at first was like, this is going to be like a legacy sequel to the games where the events of the game happen and now Lilith is older and Roland and everybody's older and she has to come back to Pandora. Like they opened the vault to begin with and they're just scrapping the second and third games and they're doing a sequel to the first game. And it's like, no, that's not it at all. There's no explanation why Lilith's like 55 years old and Roland's like 12. You know what I mean? Like there's no and as far as like it looking like the game, it's like, sure, yeah, I guess. I mean, certain
I mean,
things, yeah.
I say that very like almost like a very gilded layer of aesthetic. Like I'm sure there's stuff that could have been far more, amped up and better. But as far as like that initial first game where you get the vehicle and it's like, all right, from here to here, and then you do it and everything. That stuff to me was like, yeah, it fucking looks like Borderlands, but I don't know what the fuck I'm watching.
Yeah. I mean, Borderlands was basically their take on the Mad Max world. And it's not hard to recapture that. And I thought like what they did visually with like the colors and stuff was great. I think that
But see,
visually,
anybody can throw a bunch of rusty bullshit in the desert, cut a camera on, and fucking do, Mad Max thing. But it's how you write that. And this movie did not have that at all. Like, how many people did it take to write this fucking movie?
well, I know that Eli Roth and then they had another writer attached that I don't think has ever written anything. And you can tell. So let's look at the so Joe Abercrombie, right? Eli Roth, Joe Abercrombie. He wrote Borderlands. That's it. He was an editor on The History of Iron Maiden Part 1, The Early Days, The Iron Maiden, Death on the Road, V Festival 2007, uh, Kane, Live in Chicago. Like,
Why is he handling the Borderlands movie?
well, and it might be that thing where it's like, oh, I played the game, so I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna get a writing credit by being a consultant for the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it still
Yeah.
didn't like,
But well, I mean, I think I think it's probably even more simpler. It's just the fact that with 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 movies like the Sonic franchise, Mario, even though it's not as violent as Borderlands, just that advent of successful video game movies, it's just trying to catch the wave. I mean, in its own right, even the Mortal Kombat film from a couple of years ago kind of had the same shortcomings.
yeah.
And
But
I think there's something to be said about these more family friendly animated style ones, like the ones that are legacy franchises. Like Borderlands is very much like, you know, there's gonna be more people rolling up to see Mario and the other shit than Borderlands.
yeah,
Just by default, whether the movie was successful or not.
yeah, because I mean, Mario and Sonic, even Minecraft, is way more accessible by more people, and I think that like those fandoms are very large, um, from people from all different walks of life and all different cultures. So they all kind of have, even though they've had the same experience by playing this game, they all kind of have a different view, a different outlook on what, you know, like an adaptation of those characters should be. Like Sonic did it different, but in a good way. Whereas Borderlands is like it's more mature, it's a newer property, it's got a pretty decently sized following, but it's nowhere near the size of like Mario, Sonic, or anything like that. And the diehard fans are gonna be those fans that are gonna to spend the money and go see it and sing its praises, and nobody wanted to
But
watch
but
it.
yeah, I mean, think of it this way too, and it's nothing on necessarily the fandom of these games, but when it comes to like the more mature first person shooters, first off, you're already going uphill
Yeah.
because those are notorious because the movies or the stories of these games that are first person shooters are all centered around you, the player, and how you interact. And that's a nuance that can't really be adapted to it. Like sure, you can rip the story you're a part of, the lore that's coming out, and slap it on camera and let it roll. But what makes the story fun to have as a game is that you're experiencing it through your own, through your own decisions and stuff.
Uh, I mean, I agree.
Whereas everybody's going to play, like everybody's going to, sure, we might start at the same point A and the same point B, but how you and I are going to get from point A to point B in a first person shooter, completely different, especially if it's like something in like the span of like an RPG with RPG mechanics, as opposed to like Mario. Yeah, you can die a million times. Yeah, you can do this or whatever. You're gonna get from this part to that the same fucking way as most everyone else. There's I feel like the probability window for both games or both styles of games, they're very significantly different.
Well, I agree to an extent, but fully disagree to another extent. So if you're taking a first person shooter experience like Doom, right? You have a silent
Mhm.
character that you're playing that has you know, no personality, we'll say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like the thing with Borderlands and what a lot of people were kind of brought into it and enjoyed about it was the fact that you're playing a character. You're not creating a character and you're not playing a silent character. You're playing a character that has a very distinct, specific personality that interacts with the world, regardless of how you get from point A to point B. Every player is going to experience what that personality is. And that to me is where they didn't really capture that. If you're going to make a Doom movie, then you can do like that's a even though it's a first person shooter and it's adapting a game into a movie, but it's a completely different mindset as opposed to like here's a world that is over the top with characters that are like banter back and forth through the entire game. Like depending on who you're playing with and who like what the other players that you're playing with, what characters that they choose and all this stuff. There's this banter. There's all this stuff going on, and it sets this um, really interesting connection that the players have with those characters. And I think that them
But then
trying
I
to
well then can you and I both meet in the middle ground then that it's absolutely failed writing, obviously?
oh yeah, dude,
Because I
it
think because I think the alternative to what we got out of Doom years ago is the Halo show.
yeah.
And I think a common thread that Doom, Halo, and Borderlands have in common, and I'm sure there's little other stuff in between, but those are the three AAA stuff that comes to mind when I think about it. The common thread in all of those is horrible fucking writing.
Yes. And they realistically could have gone so many different ways whenever they adapted this story. They could have adapted it as it originally was and made it a little bit more short form and gave it a little bit more of like a hyper focused experience because that's what you'd have to do in a game that's like 20 hours, 30 hours, condense it down to an hour and a half, that's a big task. What would have made more sense though is like in every game that you play, like in the first game, you have the core team. You have Lilith and Mordecai and Brick and Roland. And then in the second game, you come in as this new group of Vault Hunters. But the last group of Vault Hunters that you played with in the previous game are still in the world and they're still doing stuff around the world and you interact with them. And then I'm assuming when you go into the third game, it's very much the same, where you interact some of the characters from the first game and the second game. It would have made more sense to me if they would have just brought in an entirely new cast of characters and have you experience them searching for these vaults and all this other stuff and interacting with some of the legacy characters from the game, whether it be heroes and or villains, and almost completely detached itself to an extent from the source material. Have Pandora be the same, have the struggles, the vault, the
Well, well,
guardians,
if
the
they if they're gonna go that route though, then they should have done what two other mature properties that have been
Should have
successful
been a
did,
show.
and that was should have been a show because Twisted Metal and The Last of
Yep.
Us are fantastic examples of mature rated games being successfully adapted and made into a good
You
show.
need more than 2 hours.
yeah. Yeah. It was a complete failure in writing and direction, vision, acting, the whole 9 yards. I mean, this had a stellar knockout cast that phoned every single scene in that they
Bobby Lee
could.
was my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, he was the most realistic character out of all of them.
He was
And I
only in there
thought
for
that
like 2 minutes.
yeah, and I thought that the girl that played Tiny Tina did a decent job at playing Tiny Tina, but also like with them kind of screwing her story up, it didn't make me because that's the thing with Tina. She grew up in this world and she grew up in this environment and you kind of felt sorry for her, but you also understood why she's an absolutely insane person because of the
Well,
environment that she's around.
do you think it should have they should have done it? I mean, obviously, because we all agree that the writing was bad. But on a more coulda shoulda level, do you think like subtle changes that would have made the movie far superior than what we got? Like for instance, I feel like if they would have just went about gathering the group of misfits a little different than how they did, I think that in and of itself would have made it a better movie.
Well, dude,
Like
it would have
instead
been.
of like for instance, you know when they're when like me like for instance with Tiny Tina, have it to where they just roll up on a spot and it's just her blowing shit the fuck up, just being a fucking loony, you know?
Yeah.
As opposed to, who are you? I'm in a prison cell and I don't know why I'm here and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Because that's how you're introduced to her in the game. You show up and she's blowing shit up, and you have to like get to her, and while she's blowing stuff up around you. Um, I mean, they could have like the game starts with you being on the bus, and it's Marcus giving the breakdown, the backstory, the same thing that happens in the movie where he's got the TV playing, and it's like what Pandora is and what the vaults are and all that stuff. That's pretty much how the game opens, except for
Yeah,
you're on the
well,
bus, and oh, go ahead.
I just want to interject a small nitpick. Why the fuck out of all the money, like they clearly spent a lot of money on this. Why did they not pay for Shortchange Hero? Why didn't they buy the rights to that song? Like
I
that
don't.
was the song that was playing when they're on the bus coming in. Because I know in Borderlands 2 it was Cage the Elephant, but in the very first one, like it was Shortchange Hero.
I think the first one was Cage the Elephant.
Really?
Yeah,
Ain't no rest for the wicked.
yeah,
Well, I know that song's on one of them, but there was another one too, where like when you're rolling into town and
Yeah,
shit, like it's
Shortchanged
playing
Heroes on the
Shortchange.
list of music.
yeah.
I see that. The heavy.
But that they could have dropped. Dude, I don't know the decisions that they made for the movie, for them changing everything up the way that they did. Like they didn't even set themselves up for a sequel. Really, it's like eh, I don't. It was just bad. It was bad. I could have written a better movie, like with my eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? Than what we got, because you could have taken this in 10,000 different directions. You could have had an hour and a half to 2 hour movie that got the feel. Like the perfect Borderlands movie exists already, and it's James Gunn's Suicide Squad. That's it. Take James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie that he released, put it in Mad Max environment, and you're golden. The way that the characters banter back and forth, the way that everything's so over the top and so gory, that he perfectly captured the essence of what Borderlands is in a DC property. And the people that actually have the rights to the video game property couldn't figure out if they were coming or going with it. And that's a shame. Like this movie is, they could have made this movie for 1/10 of the budget. If the writing would have been great, it would have made billions of dollars.
Yeah, they spent 120 million,
Yeah,
30 million
they,
on promotion, and kind of promotes itself. I mean, it's a video game movie, you know.
dude. The only promotion that they would have had to have done if this was um, written correctly, cast correctly, the whole 9 yards, was do a live action scene for scene um, remake of the original Borderlands game trailer 15 years
Oh
ago.
man, you know, and all this stuff, like you know, and we didn't even name drop the recent nugget of gold, and that was Fallout.
Yeah,
Like these type of games and stuff, it's not that they're unfilmable. None of this shit is unfilmable. But it's got to it just seemed like there wasn't outside of the effects department. It's like the movie was just production teams going through the motions. Like there was no labor of love to be found there.
No.
It was very much like Hollywood. Like that's why I feel like that's one reason too why we're so heavy to criticize it or not criticize it, but comparing it to like the likes of Suicide Squad, because that aesthetic is hot right now with mainstream audiences. The
Yeah.
loopy, roughneck crowd of people. I mean, it's always been to an extent, but even more so with Ayer's version of Suicide Squad, where you've got the ditzy woman that's so crazy you can't, so crazy you can't contain her, and you got the whole people that just the Guardians of the Galaxy effect. And James Gunn obviously being the director that captured that little bit of lightning in a bottle, it just shows you that people are trying to do it again, and you really can't.
Well, you can do it. You just have to be clever about how you do it. And that's one of the things that's lacking here is the fact that like there wasn't a clever bone in anybody's body whenever they were coming up with all this stuff.
And I mean, even without, and even if it wasn't, even if they still had to take what they gave us, they like the script was already the same as it is, with the exception of like overviewing the screenplay, with the exception of just like those suggestions of shots and everything. Just film the movie and just like make it a good, like make it a piece of art. If the story is going to be very shallow, cut and dry like it was, go super hard with the world building, the scenery, the aesthetic, all of that, instead of just these couple of sequences where things look good but it's not enough to mask the lack of substance that the writing doesn't have.
Yeah. Wow. It's a lot of questionable choices, and it makes sense why it only made a tenth of its actual budget. Like,
Yeah, what was the final numbers on it?
well, it made a little bit more than 32.
Mm.
$150 million, roughly $150 million budget, and they made 32. This is a classic case of
Eli
someone's
Roth? No, I'm just.
well
I'm
of a
kidding.
studio scooping up a property, a video game property, because they're making money now. Hey, people are making money adapting video games into movies and television. So let's
But
scoop up whatever we can and let's just get it on the
but
screen
how
as quickly as we possibly can.
how long have we been following this movie's production though? Because
Since
I want to say
pandemic.
it's been several.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's,
mean,
I
they
must
filmed
say
this
either
back
right
in like
around.
2021 or 20, like it was, they were filming during all that shit. Like,
Yeah.
and then they had to go back and do reshoots. Remember, like a year or so ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Oh yeah.
oh,
Yeah. I think that if they would have released this, um, the expected release date, which would have probably been 2 years ago,
yeah.
almost 3 years ago now, if they would have released this then, I don't think it would have gotten as bad of a reception from audiences as it has gotten. But whenever you start putting it up against Sonic and Mario and The Last of Us and Twisted Metal and like all these properties that are coming out that are making really good adaptations, then of course it's going to get slandered. So that I think that was their biggest misstep. Of course, other than the writing and the phoned in performances and all this other crap, like if they would have released it when they were hoping to release it, it
So you're saying it would have got pandemic pity only for years later for
A little
people
pan
to
pity.
be like, "Hey, man, that Borderland movie was actually ass, dude." Like we were all locked up for a year, so yeah, there wasn't much happening and much good to watch. Like, you think more or less stalling the negativity that it got? Because I think we would have gotten to this point regardless of release.
Well, I think it would have.
Even at that time, like, and it very well could have sabotaged some of the movies that have come out since that are superior.
Well, I think if let's say that we could turn back time and we could find
Hmm.
a way, um, and we dropped this movie whenever it was supposed to release, and everything else released as scheduled. Fallout, Last of Us, all this stuff. I think that because it would have been so early in this whole video game adaptation revival that it wouldn't have got like you would have had the purists that would have shit on it. You would have had the casual moviegoers that have no idea what Borderlands was that would have probably watched it and enjoyed it. It would have came off of the hills of Mad Max. It would have gotten a decent, I think a decent turnout from audiences and a decent turnout from just your either casual players or your non-players of the game franchise. And I think as time went on, it would have been a reverse case of what Star Wars happened. As Star Wars, the prequels have gone on, people have decided, oh, well, these aren't as bad as everybody was making them out to be. But as more video game properties are being adapted and time goes on, then you'd be like, oh, yeah, this isn't as great as we all originally thought it was because we've had better examples of how to properly adapt. It's kind of like
I just,
the
I just have
the
to. I have. Oh, I was just gonna say, I have to slightly disagree with it, man. I really think if this had come out then, it would have hurt everything. It would have poisoned the well, dude. I really
what
think that.
I think it would have had the Fox Marvel effect. The
Or would it
X Men
have been
movies.
a digital release like streaming during that time?
Well, if this, let's say this come out right before the pandemic hit, right?
They filmed it April 2021.
Okay,
So you're
so
saying
it
if
would
they
have,
filmed it a little more and then they did
yeah,
reshoots in 2023,
yeah,
Bobby Lee was like, every time it would get brought up to him on the podcast, he's like, I don't know if that movie's going to come out.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
it's like, what?
yeah. Um, but I forgot what
Also,
I was going.
economy would have been better back then. You
Yeah,
got to take that into account. Not a lot of, I mean, a lot of people didn't go to the theater to watch this. They waited for it to
yeah,
hit streaming because, you know,
I
yeah,
mean, I mean, on the
Deadpool
one
was
hand,
playing.
it probably would have been slightly more successful, just because it would have been in that real dip of, that when it was I think it was the year that Marvel just could not drop a good movie to save its fucking ass.
yeah. But that's what I was saying. It's like, okay, we got the Fox Marvel movies that we got, and like, sure, in context of everything, the X-Men movies, they're not bad. They're not terrible at all. And a lot of people enjoy them. I enjoy them still. But whenever you compare the X-Men Fox Marvel movies to the Marvel movies that we've gotten in the past 15 years, does it realistically, honestly hold a candle to what we have now? I mean, if we sit down and really think about and not base it off of
Oh, I
nostalgia.
mean, if we, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, if we take our nostalgia glasses off, then of course it doesn't. I mean, why would you settle for Fox's early rendition of Wolverine when now we have an on-screen faithful version of Wolverine played by the same fucking actor, you know?
Yeah,
I
and I
call
think
those
that
nostalgals.
yeah,
And the Stockholm.
and I think
Well,
that
we're the shortbread you'll ever have.
if this would have been released a little bit earlier before a lot of these other adaptations happened, I think that would have been a little bit more. I think that would have been more of the reception because I could
I
definitely
just
see people that don't know the property watching this movie and still getting some type of enjoyment out of it.
I
But
think it would have caused. I think it would have caused, like, not one, not on this severe of a level, but I think it would have. It would have been such a bad call that I think it would have had the companies for, like, for those early Sonic movies. and Mario and all the other stuff. I think it would have had them go, okay, do we like I think it would have delayed releases more so than like hype ticket sales.
Yeah.
Because now if this was one of those movies where we could have came into this review and been like, guys, what the did these people watch the same movie we watched?
Yeah.
Like it there could have been something there to make it a cult. And maybe to a very niche younger audience, maybe this is going to be a cult film for some people. I don't think it has any hallmarks of it, but who the fuck am I? But if it had had just that, it wouldn't have felt like it's all for naught, because kind of what it ended up being.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just I was expecting more and I was hoping for more. Even when the bad reviews and stuff started coming out, I was like, maybe, just maybe, there'll be some redeeming something in this. And it's like, I watched it and I gave it the benefit of the doubt and I went in, hoping for the best.
Oh, for
And man,
sure.
it just, no.
Fell flat.
Dude, it fell flatter than flat. I don't know how much lower that you can get than flat, but dude, I was so after it went off, I'm like, cancel all of the video game adaptations right now.
And as you're
Like,
watching it, it's like so predictable what's about to
Security's.
happen.
yes.
Like they just
Yeah.
almost like they used AI to write the script. You know what I mean? Like it was something like, let's just use
Yeah.
some simple structure, and maybe the simpletons can follow along. You know,
Yeah.
You're
This
right.
and
is
it would
like a
just lead you
sci-fi.
right to it. It's like, oh, she's gonna
It's
be. Oh, there it is.
yeah. This is
Okay.
like a
It's like
sci-fi original.
Grok, write me the script for Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Grok could probably do a better job. They should have paid for the check mark.
Yeah.
They wrote this with Meta's version.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
And what's crazy is the fact that so the guy that runs the game studio that created Borderlands is this egotistical fucknut, right? So the let's see, the game
Did he
studio,
run his mouth?
it's Gearbox Software, right? And who's the lead of Gearbox Software? Is he the CEO? Randy Pitchford. Okay. Randy Pitchford is that guy that's like, I'm the greatest motherfucker on this planet and fuck everybody else, but not in a cool Elon Musk kind of way.
Yeah, he's not like. Go figure yourself.
Yeah, no, he's just like an arrogant prick, right? And you would think that with him being this type of personality, that he would have like injected himself into this whole like because he's like, I'm a guy that made one of the biggest game franchises the past 15 years. I know more than every other person running fucking game studios right now. No, we're not. Like, he's the guy that told Sony, because Sony's like, yeah, we can do crossplay for the new Borderlands game. And he's like, okay, well, what's that look like? And they're like, oh, you're going to have to give us like $100,000 a year just to be able to activate crossplay. And he told Sony, all of Sony, to go fuck themselves to their face, which I kind of have to, take my hat off to him for that. But he's that kind of guy. So you would think that he would have been all involved into this whole filmmaking process. And from what I understand, he wasn't involved at all. And you can definitely tell. And not only that, but like he almost wanted it to fail because the same weekend that the movie dropped, they announced Borderlands 4 and he used the failure of the movie as a way to promote the new game coming out. So if that doesn't tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So anyway.
I mean, it's one of those cases where I hate to kind of feel like we've just walked right in step with a lot of other places and their criticisms of the movie. But it's kind of hard to find something to like about this movie because there's really not.
If I wanted to watch this type of movie, post-apocalyptic setting, I've got Mad Max and Fallout to watch. If I want to watch something where you've got fun, interesting, crazy characters that's over the top, I'd watch the Suicide Squad movie. I'd watch the fucking Expendable. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? There's a ton of stuff that you can watch that nails what they should have nailed in this movie. There's nothing that's going to bring me back to watch this movie again. Zero. I'm giving it no star.
Whoa.
I'm giving it no star.
Whoa.
Dude,
Stop
I
the
mean,
presses.
there's nothing that makes me,
Griffin giving no stars.
dude. I can watch and give most things the benefit of the doubt, but like, dude, how do you fuck up this bad with $150 million budget?
Well,
Well, the same way
Eli
you fuck
Roth
up the
has not had a
Acolyte.
good, in my opinion now, he ain't dropped a banger since Cabin Fever, and that was his third movie. Well, first movie. Other one was a TV series that he worked on.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Thanksgiving yet, but it does have a better score than this movie.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
know, it's
I
based
feel
off
like-
the Grindhouse trailer that he made for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grindhouse. So it's
I
a
think-
silly goes time. I mean,
Exactly. Like that, like we know right off the bat what we're getting with that. Like that's a built to, like, you know.
I can see why Tarantino distanced himself from this dude. He's like, I'll let you
Yeah.
act in some stuff, but
Yeah.
he's a good actor.
Don't you dare fucking touch my 35mm, motherfucker.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Donnie.
Yeah.
But
What?
I gotta go half star.
did- Man. Going no star, man.
I mean, it's a half star movie.
Yeah. It's just, dude, how do you fuck up, man?
Well, you know,
Like,
I didn't play. I
mean,
played like the
I
second
almost-
or maybe the first. I didn't play it a lot to like I went into this movie like it's just a movie to me, right?
Yeah.
But it was still bad.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
That and see that to me, that's why it's got no redemption here.
like the
'cause it's
video
not- it's
game
not-
didn't even
it's-
matter when I was watching it because I was like, oh, they're just kind of doing their own
Yeah.
thing here, and it was like, but this is like bad, and you've got all these really big actors, and they agreed to do this, like.
Yeah.
It was almost like they were trying. I don't know, trying too hard. Like it just felt fake.
Yeah.
I mean, oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis was in there randomly.
Dude, that's what doesn't make sense. Like, Lilith is young. Tannis is like a little bit older than Lilith. That's why I was so confused going into it. It's like we've got a 50-year-old woman interacting with a 70-year-old woman, and we've got dude, Kevin Hart, who's like trying to take this seriously. Even like, why? Out of all the things that Kevin Hart's done where he could take it seriously and he doesn't, he decides and he gets the direction. Well, I'm going to take this goofy, over the top video game adaptation as serious as I humanly can.
Well, he thought this was gonna be his Marvel. You know, like he was gonna.
I guess.
I wish they would stop putting him in stuff.
Same.
Like
I'm over
we've had
Kevin
enough
Hart.
Kevin Hart, man. And I like
Yeah.
him. I mean, I like the guy, but they just keep putting him in everything, and it's like, dude, he's run his course.
Yeah.
We're done.
People are tired of seeing him.
Well,
He,
like I love Jack Black, but now I'm getting to the and I used to watch anything with Jack Black in it, but now
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, just because it's got Jack Black in it, ain't gonna work.
yeah.
Like the fucking Minecraft trailer, I saw that and I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know about that. Like he was in this movie, kinda.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. He was good. He was good as Bowser.
Oh yeah,
I mean, yeah, his face wasn't
his voice.
there,
I mean,
but I mean, he can still make good shit.
sure,
But it doesn't mean.
but they
just like,
slap him
you
on
know,
stuff just because it's like we'll put Jack Black in it, like we'll put
Yes.
Kevin Hart in it. It's like no, that's run its course. You can't just do that now. Like,
Well, it's with excuse me, with Kevin Hart, he's running the same. To me, he's almost on brand with a lot of other comedians that get into these movies. Um, they'll come out with them for years and years and years and years and years, and then they're in fucking everything. Like in the '90s, it was David Spade and Chris Rock and stuff, and in the
Will
2000s,
Ferrell.
it was Will Ferrell, Dave Chappelle,
Yeah.
and who the fuck else? But
Yeah,
you
there's
see
been
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying?
them. And then it's like, finally, it's like, okay, it's not working anymore. Like, we need new next.
Yeah. It's done. It's done. It's done.
Half star.
I think it deserves it. I mean, I would kill for the opportunity to write a Borderlands movie. And you're gonna let some chucklehead fucking nobody that's an editor
Mm.
and fucking Eli Roth, the guy who made fucking Hostel, that was torture
I
porn,
think 1, 2, and 3, by the way.
try to make a comedy action flick. What fucking universe are we in right now?
I don't know, but you said that other guy never done anything.
Yeah.
That checks out, man. Like I was saying, like how it was like real predictable. He got the How to Write a Screenplay book and
Oh yeah,
followed
yeah,
that shit to a T. Like
yeah,
How to Write a Screenplay for Dummies.
yeah. It's bad.
Womp womp.
Speaking of something that's not bad though, the Penguin.
What Colin Farrell has done for the Penguin is what Heath Ledger did for the Joker.
Yes.
Is that too
Agreed.
bold a statement?
No. It don't even like I know that we've done this. I know that we've done this every time we talk about it, but dude, he morphs into this character so well. It's so
Yeah.
You can't
insane.
even tell it's him.
No.
We're dropping to our knees, guys. Hold our heads. You know.
He sticks to the
Yeah.
walk too. Like I was kept watching him because I was like, surely he'll fuck up and do the wrong foot.
Yeah.
Nah, dude,
Dude,
he's got
that
that
wobble,
fucking.
dude. He's rocking the Oswald wobble pot, man.
Yeah. I it
Whenever he kills when he kills that dude in the basement and he
oh
goes
yeah.
up the steps, there's this one scene that I couldn't help but chuckle at. He's kind of, when he's doing his coast is clear walkabout,
Yeah.
and there's just this part where he wobbles into the fucking threshold of a door and he just kind of is like I just imagine it's somebody's old ass dad coming to the door being like, what you fuckers doing? And then he just walks off quickly. I don't know. It's
No,
just a
dude.
real
His
awkward
his
frame and
ability
shot.
to fact with that much
Yes.
prosthetic on is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
And still be able to like get the look across. You know that how he does the dead eyes and like when he's like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I might
Well,
be caught here.
Yeah.
His
he
mouth's
grips
open a
you.
little. You see the scar. It's like, ugh.
He grips you with the paws.
Yeah.
He just looks for a second.
Whenever
And
he's
then he's
walking like that, I'm
"That's
like, he's gonna swing so hard one way, he's gonna fall. That's how fucking much
Yeah.
of a wobble's there. I'm like, he's top
or,
heavy.
or he's gonna knock somebody holding some champagne, a champagne like server. He's gonna wobble and hit one of them. They're gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
With way too many goddamn olives in them. Y'all see that?
Hmm. It's incredible that they've taken what would be considered the least interesting part of the Batman universe, which is like what the mob is doing and all that kind of stuff, and making it so gripping.
The ground level stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Um it's I mean the first episode so far in my opinion has definitely been the best episode.
The
But
third one was
'Cause
a
what peop-
follow up.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
what's crazy is that if you think about it, 90%, or not 90, but about, I'd say 60, 60% of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is dealing with the same plot points that this show's dealing with.
Yeah.
Like in that especially in the first movie with Batman Begins, the whole Falcone, Maroni, that and all the way into the Dark Knight, like all these plot points are being addressed in those movies as well. So this story has been played the fuck out as well as in the show Gotham, all of that. And I get it that like if they want to go with the noir approach to Batman instead of the more fantastical stuff, that's kind of what they have to work with right now. Um, but it just goes to show you, like you said, Griff, that like making it so gripping that you actually give a shit and you're invested. It's like those things are going on, but they're just in the background. And
Yeah.
it's like, why? It's like, well, it's because we're fucking dealing with the goddamn Joker, dude. Like, if I fucking Heath Ledger, motherfucker, you know,
Also
like some shit
showing
like
us like
that.
miniseries better.
Yes, for sure.
Imagine them trying just the 3 hours we've had so far. Them trying to cram that into like 2.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff would have been cut out, like
Yeah, absolutely.
because they're
Yeah.
like, we don't have enough time for all this. They can
Well,
cook.
I can't wait to see how, because this show's good in and of itself. But whenever you look at the larger tapestry of Matt Reeves' Batman universe, seeing how this is all going to come together is going to be really nice.
Yes.
Because I feel like the show we're getting all of the backstory, all of the conclusions that Batman's going to come to just thinking on the spot because he's that goddamn on point.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, I'm still standing by that Victor is going to be the one that Batman squeezes and he's going to fucking turn. And that's how they're going to get Penguin. Because the show's playing it like he's trying to make sure Sophie doesn't find out shit.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, he don't give two fucks if he throws that bitch in the fucking ocean.
I wouldn't be surprised if Victor doesn't like become someone down the road.
I kind of have a
I
theory
have a
about it.
feeling that he's gonna be somebody.
I have
He
a
could
theory.
even be,
like a-
he
like a-
could be Batman's like Robin or whatever they go with. Like, because the kid's got nobody really, but
Yeah.
Cobblepot here is helping him out. I mean, he's just a kid.
Yeah. No, here's my theory
Or
on
they're
it.
gonna kill him, and that'll be like, whoa.
That's what I think's gonna happen.
Oh, but they'll do it later on, like because you already like him. First episode, you like him.
Yes. You like the audience
That's
likes
what'll
the
turn this
character.
shit.
Well, think about it this way, though. From what we've
We need our
seen,
Coulson, man.
well, from what we've seen, especially in this last episode, um, the Penguin is vicariously living through this kid,
Oh yeah,
and he is kind of the thing that is, whether Penguin wants to admit it or not, is kind of the thing that is keeping him from losing his shit.
Yeah.
That's keeping him grounded.
he's in
and
over
all
his
that
head.
stuff. If this kid dies, he's gonna go full fucking
Cobblepot.
yeah, dude. He's gonna go full
The
fuck you and
Cobblepot's
just
bowling over.
yeah. Because think about it. He's stirred up this whole gang war. If he's the reason that the kid gets killed because of the whole gang war shit, then he's gonna flip out and probably murder everybody and take control of everything.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that's how the series is gonna end. I think that the kid's gonna die. I think Penguin's gonna flip out, and I think that he's gonna kill from both of those families everybody that he's got to kill to become the overlord of Gotham's crime.
I'm waiting for the moment where he stops caring about whether the Falcones or Maronis know that he's playing them both. I think that part is absolutely coming. Like it's gonna be a point where he's like, "Yeah, you both of you families are so fucking stupid. You couldn't see that I fucked you both over." Like I can see some damn master class laying down some shit moment. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like say the kid dies. Well, Cobblepot gets the head of both families, sits them down, and goes, "You couple of dumb motherfuckers. You don't realize who's running this city now, do you? It's me. And he fucking axes them both, you know?
America's a hustle,
Because the
kid.
whole. Because
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the thing about the Penguin, and it's one of the things that they explore. I mean, it's happened in the comics, and for a lot of more normie audiences out there, in Arkham, in the Arkham series of games, because I feel like that's a lot of. I'm going to use that because I feel like that's a lot of reference points for folks. Um, Penguin is absolutely just a ruthless fucking crime lord,
Yep.
and he's playing it safe right now. I mean, we're Origin, you know, but like at the same time, it's either going to be the kid or it's going to be his mom.
Well, I think that he already knows the situation with the mom and how that's going to kind of pan out in the long run. I definitely do think that this is going to work itself up perfectly to Harvey Dent. And if they don't introduce Harvey Dent, and they don't even have to introduce Two Face, but if they don't use Penguin's takeover of the Gotham underworld as a way to introduce Harvey Dent to basically go after Penguin, they are
Yeah.
fucking up. You know, they're fucking up so bad because this shit writes itself now. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm. Good seeds, fertile ground.
yeah. I mean, really,
uh,
it writes itself. And this is perfect too, because think about it. You got Bruce Wayne that fucks off at the end of the first Batman movie. Gotham's been flooded. Penguin's pulling all these strings, coming back up. Crime. There's a freaking gang war that's happening right now. Batman's gonna have to step up at some point to get
Yeah.
re-involved in what's going on in Gotham. And what a better way to bring him back, and then also introduce the new district attorney,
Yep.
who's kind of on the same side as Batman. You
It
know,
may
let's
start
take.
as like if we could see Bruce Wayne, like, like giving money to do his campaign,
Mm-hmm.
trying to, because he's like, someone needs to go, like Batman's done his job. Somebody needs, like, you don't want
Yeah.
to be out there
Yeah.
going after carjackers. It's like, come on, I'm Batman, dude. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, what they've done is absolutely incredible. And I mean, what we're 3 episodes in.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
only 8
I wish that I would have waited.
until it was done.
Yes,
Yeah,
because I just want to keep watching it.
right.
That's that's
I
how
have
good
to
it is.
agree.
Yeah. But we got a little bit of movie news here that we're gonna hit on, and some of it's gonna be very topical, if you
Very
know what I mean.
exciting.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
Salem's Lot has dropped, right?
Yeah.
Salem's Lot has dropped. But fans are campaigning for Max to release the 3-hour director's cut.
Okay.
So the 2024 reboot of Salem's Lot made its premiere on Max on October 3rd, and to say that fans felt let down by the film would be putting it mildly.
Mm.
Directed by Gary Dauberman, the new version left much to be desired and missing a lot of character development that made both the book and Toby Hooper's 1979 TV miniseries so special. Word has since gotten out that Dauberman's initial cut of the movie was 3 hours, but was then trimmed down to a lean 113 minutes, leading to many Stephen King fans and horror aficionados on social media calling for Max to release the Dauberman cut, much the same way DC fans did when they petitioned for them to release the Snyder cut. While the hashtag release the Dauberman cut hasn't gotten enough traction to trend on X in any meaningful way, fans are still using it to express their displeasure over Salem's Lot, which currently holds just a 50% rating on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and a disappointing 41% from the audience. Um,
Mm.
it says, though Doberman's version of Salem's Lot did manage to include quite a few pivotal moments that were featured in King's novel, Perhaps the most glaring omission of them all was the connection Ben Mears shares with the Marston house. Fans will note that at one point in the novel, there's a flashback featuring Mears as a child going into the ominous locale, only to be confronted with the ghost of Hubie Marston hanging from the rafters. Doberman recently revealed in an interview with Den of Geek that the scene was supposed to open up this film, but was one of the ones that got cut due to time constraints. It's just another reason that Salem's Lot felt rushed and disjointed in a way because that aspect of the story was never truly explored for the audience. Quote in the book, Ben sneaks into the Marston house and he sees the ghost of Hubert Marston, the director explains. I shot that and it used to open the movie, but it seemed to muddy the waters for audiences, the ghost story within the vampire story. To me it's so important because it's why Ben believes the vampire stuff, but we're not telling that story. So that was the hardest thing to cut because I love that sequence.
And I haven't watched the release that's out of it, but and maybe you guys can agree to this because we've all seen our fair share of Stephen King films and had our crack at our Stephen King books. If someone has a vision and they go up to these studios, especially with these really very like well beloved books that have been around for decades now.
Mm-hmm.
When someone comes to a studio and they're like, I have a 3 hour cut, a 3 hour vision of this fucking
And
story.
it's a streaming service.
Don't like not a fucking scrap of like get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Like 3 hours of film that can absolutely tell the story of Salem's Lot.
Yes. Well, and remember Salem's Lot was one of those flicks like Evil Dead Rise where it was going to release in theaters and then it wasn't and then it was and then they ultimately decided not to. And it's like, bro, this is Max doubling down. I mean, think about with our current economy and I mean, we've seen that subscriptions for Disney Plus and for Netflix for various reasons, whether it be terrible series or specific campaign um, donations, we've seen huge um, cancellations. This is just Max's way of being like, okay, we released the original cut of Salem's Lot. We're going to wait 6 months, maybe a year. We're going to release the 3 hour cut and give it another go. Just to get that,
And
just because people that even passingly enjoys the original cut are going to come back. It's just a ploy from the streaming service at
Yeah.
this point.
well, I feel like this whole like in the era of reboots, I think that Stephen King's little era of it all is really unnecessary and pointless because some of the older original cuts of these movies have so many iconic moments, so many iconic actors
The
doing certain
Shining.
roles, all of that. All of it. The Shine from like regardless of
The
whether The
Stand.
Shining was King's vision or Kubrick's, it doesn't matter. It's
It's
these
iconic.
like they're all yeah, all of them. Like even Tim Curry as Pennywise. There's
Yeah.
like, yeah, they may not be polished up with that modern flair for younger audiences, but
Fuck
there's a
them.
charm to every. Here's my thing go on YouTube right now and pull up reaction videos. There's so many people watching old movies now
Yeah.
that weren't like 10 years ago. And like, that, what you'll find more often than not is people that do eventually get around to watching these older movies. They come out on the other end loving them, just as we did when we watched them, and same with some of those other audiences. And they come to it well, not even loving them, but just a lot of the same conclusions are reached. But there is a charm to these old Stephen King movies, and this weird, we're gonna literally remake all of them is fucking dumb because for one, I think it ass fucked the Dark Tower adaptation. I feel like it did. I think it it neglects so much of Stephen King's like actual short stories that are far more superior than his fucking books, his novels. When it comes to people like Stephen King and Clive Barker, where they pack a punch is in the short story.
Mm-hmm.
Like the short story compilations are so much better than the full length novels. And I don't understand why we needed another Pet Cemetery. I don't like Doctor Sleep. I get it. It's a sequel to The Shining, but even the It remake that was fucking pointless. I mean, it was what it was, and it wasn't terrible, but it was a pointless reboot. Just like most, I mean, obviously we can stretch that comment to the broader reboot genre at large. But, in regards to the topic at hand, though, did we really need another adaptation of Salem's Lot? Because we have like three, I believe.
Well, it's money. I mean, dude, you're talking about it. It opened this can of worms. I mean, we were always going to get Stephen King stuff being adapted, but if it
Of
didn't gross
course.
Yeah.
billions of dollars, then we wouldn't be getting all these remakes.
But
So, I mean,
I
that's the
think
can of
that
worms.
Dude, it made all that money and they were
because
like, we're set on a gold mine.
Yeah,
well, like
exactly.
for instance, and I feel like some people would go, well, Trav, they already tried to adapt his short stories and it didn't work. Nightmares and Dreamscapes was a fantastic show. I'll die on that hill. But a lot of the like those shows where it's short stories made into movies and stuff like with Creep Show. I mean, Creep Show stands on its own pedestal in my opinion. But anyway, like now in the era of streaming and binge watching shows, you could take all of his short story compilations, turn them into a miniseries event, and they would be absolute bangers with the right team.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a short story series for Everything's Eventual. We would even get a nice little. We would get multiple Dark Tower stories.
Yeah.
One that actually takes place with Roland, like where he goes and fights this den of vampire women. Like the part where he's going through the desert to pursue Walter. Before that happens, he rolls up at this town called Illyria, and it's overtaken by this coven of vampires, and he's got to fight them there and all that shit.
Right.
Well, there's another short story in that very same book. It's actually the titular story of the novel. It's actually called Everything's Eventual, and it's one of the people who become a breaker,
Right.
a very critical point in character. Like it's not. He can kind of it's the I can't remember his name, but in the book series of the Dark Tower, he's the guy that can manifest stuff by drawing it.
Mm. Well,
Like it's more of his story where he's at in an apartment complex and he can like write things or do certain stuff, and like when he does, it actually plays out and can happen. Because at one point, I always in my dumb kid brain, I used to think that he was like, oh shit, it's a Roland reference, but because the whole idea of the guns being Excalibur melted down and turned into pistols, he's doing this thing where he'll type on a computer. He'll be like, I want like he'll type out some shit and then it'll fucking happen in the real world. But
right.
but never mind. I mean, never mind. Everything is eventual and its Dark Tower connections. Even shit like Night Shift.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, dude, I'm the Doorway is still probably one of my all-time favorite Stephen King short stories.
Well, I think the problem with
It's
that,
just
I mean, when's the last time that any studio, with regardless of who's involved, released a series like that? I mean, Peel tried to do Twilight Zone. It didn't do great. They tried to do Clive Barker stuff on Hulu. It only got one season. I don't think it even got renewed. I haven't heard anything else about it. There's like short stories make sense, but from a production standpoint, it's like the same thing as trying to publish one
Well,
short story in one
but on the
book.
one hand, though, but here's the thing, though. The one common thread for all those, Griffin, is that they all fucking suck. There's ones on the other hand, though, is like or like Love, Sex, and Robots, Black Mirror, um, like just stuff of that nature. Like, yeah, it might be a little bit different in terms of genre, but they're still individual stories told over anthological stuff, like an anthological season. And
Yeah.
so I think that it's there. I think that it can work, but it's just got to be that it's got to be the people that approach these works by King with a level of passion, and the studios need to just let that vision play out and not get in there and meddle with it because of runtime and budget constraints. It's like, no, this episode's going to be an hour and 15 minutes long. Why? Because that's what the fucking guy made it into. Now, does there need to be limitations in terms of it being an episode of TV? Sure. Yeah, we don't need a 3-hour episode of something. I get that. But with a short story, you can make it you can make an effective short story in like an hour, hour 10, hour 15. You can make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but also they're not going to stop with Stephen King. I mean, the
No.
only reason that The Shining hasn't been remade is because of the Kubrick. If the
Oh
Kubrick,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
The
That is,
Kubrick's cube.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
thinking like a Rubik's cube. It's
yeah,
got his face on it. And you
yeah. You got to
have
line his face up, but but yeah, if it wasn't for how iconic that film is, just as a horror film,
yeah.
psychological thing, then it would have already been. And I'll guarantee you, somebody's working
Oh,
on
they'll
one right
do it.
now. Yeah. Um.
Well, I mean, dude, and never mind Kubrick, just Jack Nicholson
Yeah.
alone.
I mean, his
Like,
kid
dude,
could
when
play.
he's walk when he's walking up the steps to Shelley Duvall's character, and
R.I.P.
he's like, "I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your fucking head
Yeah,
in."
I felt
Like,
that.
dude, and you believe it.
Yeah.
You believe it. You're like, dude, Jack Nicholson's about to kill this bitch.
No one wants
Yeah.
to
Well, fucking
play.
cut, you
They
know?
fucking tortured her on that movie set.
I know, right? So, but yeah, I'm excited to watch the Salem's Lot, the new version of it, and I'm also, I mean, if we've got a 3 hour cut, then let's quit being stingy with it. Let's just go ahead and release that.
Well, they gotta wait for the month to be over so that way they can double charge. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
you
Yeah,
know that's why they're gonna do.
I know.
It'll be like next Halloween. They're like, oh look,
Yeah,
double dipping.
yeah. And if that's the case, then why not release why not split it into two films? Because if it's 3 hours, you get 2 hour-and-a-half flicks. You get Salem's Lot Part 1, Salem's Lot Part 2. You drop the first one on like, I don't know, October the 18th or some
Ah,
shit, and then drop the other half of it on
Well,
like the first,
yeah.
you know?
well, I wonder if they do that sequence where Barlow just straight makes um Callahan his bitch. He's just like, motherfucker, you ain't shit.
We'll have
Like,
to
just
watch it and
fucking
see.
owns his. Cause like that was a big thing that carried over from Salem's Lot into the Tower, was that Barlow fucking kind of more or less humiliated the fuck out of
Wait,
uh
he
Callahan.
caused him to lose his faith completely.
Yeah,
So I mean,
and and then that's what makes that whole part in book 7 epic as fuck, when Callahan's fucking back in the faith, stands up with that scarab and just straight lights the Dixie pig up, dude.
yeah.
Terrible band.
Which for those
Hmm.
which for those unfamiliar, Dixie Pig was the name of a fucking den of vampires, and I mean a den.
Yeah.
Like
The
whenever, like when
Dixie
he does
Pigs.
that shit, when he does that shit, man, it is so fucking epic, Adam, because he jumps up on this fucking table and he gives them the fucking sermon of sermons, dude.
Speaking of sermon of sermons here, Megalopolis bombs hard at the box office in its second weekend. Set against a budget of around
That
100
fucking noise.
yeah, of around 110 million, Megalopolis made a meager $1 million domestic during its second weekend at the box office. Tally this with the 4 million from its opening weekend, and the movie hasn't even recuperated 5% of its production budget. And that doesn't include the marketing budget, which was co-funded by Coppola and Lionsgate, as well as spelling potential financial disaster for Coppola, who reportedly sold off his winery to fund the 40-year-old passion project. Megalopolis underperformance could prove disastrous for Lionsgate. The studio behind major hits like John Wick and Hunger Games franchises are facing their third blockbuster flop of 2024, all within the span of a few months. Eli Roth's Borderlands, based on the video game franchise same name, was widely regarded as one of the worst game adaptations in recent years and was pulled from theaters early. Just a few weeks later, Lionsgate released The Crow, starring Bill Skarsgård and directed by Rupert Sanders. The remake of the Cult 94 original was called many things by critics and audiences and was ultimately labeled unnecessary. It too was pulled from theaters early. Considering its abysmal box office takes so far, there is a good chance that Megalopolis could face the same fate.
Still can't wait to see it.
Dude, I asked TT the Bible salesman, right? Because he
Uh-huh.
went to the theaters and watched it. He
Uh,
posted
Hey, Trav saw him
what?
at the theater, right? Didn't you see him somewhere?
well, no, but I was gonna be like, I saw the screenshot and I was first off, I was like,
Oh, that's
title
right.
card looks like Dracula's. Uh, but there was a part of me that was like, did he really brave this alone?
Yes, absolutely. Because I asked him
What a
how it was,
what
and
a
he
fucking
said,
trooper!
Oh, that's right. You told me you saw on Facebook he watched it, and I said,
"Yes,
"TT the Bible salesman." You were like, "Does he really sell Bibles?" I was like, "Oh, it was a cartoon that
yeah,
Corey drew years ago."
yeah, yeah."
Who
He said it was the weirdest movie that he's ever seen in his entire life,
Is he a big
and I
movie
said,
guy?
"Oh yeah, 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 yeah."
Bet.
So he said it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
It's just
He's
weird.
trying to wrap his head around it,
I
and I
think you
said,
have to smoke up like what was it, like $1 million worth of weed?
"Oh yeah,
Because the dude was super high when he made it.
yeah." So, but I told him, because in the post I was like, the pitch you just gave me for this movie makes me want to watch it more
I can't
than
wait.
watching the trailers and watch reading all the news and stuff about it, because like if TT the Bible salesman is
Said it
saying
was
that
weird.
it's the weirdest movie that he's ever seen, knowing that he watches a lot of the same movies that we've watched, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's on that level and saying it's weird, then
Yeah.
I'm definitely down for some weirdness. So
Well, the reason I went is because the fact that it's doing bad, it's probably going to be available pretty early. Like,
yeah.
if a streaming service will take it.
Well, I think this is my prediction for Megalopolis. Haven't watched it, of course, but I have a prediction that this is going to go into cult status really quickly,
Oh,
and then in
yeah.
about 15 to 20 years, it's going to be we're going to be
Criterion
remember.
Collection.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
like all the other movies that are in there, they're
yes,
just
yeah,
weird, out of this world.
yeah.
What was that? Black Mountain? What was that fucking movie?
Black Mountain.
Yeah, is that what it was
like
called?
like yeah like no, the Holy
The
Mountain,
Holy.
Oh
Was that
yeah,
it?
the Holy Mountain. Yeah.
uh
Has he seen that
Jingoku.
movie?
Ah, if
You need
he
to run
hasn't,
that
I need to
by
hook
him.
him up. Yeah, it's like,
Send him
bro,
an
watch this.
invite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I
Has
already
he
know it's gonna be
seen?
crazy.
Has he seen Necromantic?
I think he has actually.
Has he danced with the neon demon?
in the pale
I told
moonlight.
I told him to skip it.
I mean, where was he with Bad Lieutenant?
Y'all know what's
Well,
happening here. Normies are seeing Adam Driver and they're like,
yes,
"Oh, I loved him in that movie he argued with his wife in." You know?
yes,
And they're going
Yeah,
to watch this
yeah.
shit and it's like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "Yeah, this ain't for you."
yeah.
He stopped being Ben Solo when they said cut, you know?
He's incarcerated.
I am
They were like, "He was
incarcerated.
so good in Ferrari in the House of Gucci. What's this piece of
Yeah.
shit?"
Yeah,
You know?
House of Gucci. I forgot about
It's
that.
it's
Yeah.
the it's the sequel to Ferrari in the House of
Yeah.
Gucci. It's Megalopolis.
I
It
mean,
sounds
it's
like
got
it'd be
John
part
Voight in
3.
it, dude.
Yeah. The cast
Dustin
is wild.
Hoffman, Gus.
Morpheus? Yeah.
Look at me,
But
Adam Driver.
speaking of flops though, let's talk about Joker. So for $40 million might constitute a substantial payday for many films, but it's no laughing matter for the new Joker flick. Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, and Lady Gaga's cinematic collaboration was originally predicted to make well over $100 million domestically over its opening weekend at the box office. However, after a flurry of poor reviews from the critics, fans began to worry that the long-awaited sequel might not recapture the magic of the first film. No shit.
It
And now
did.
that's
It did
yeah,
not.
yeah. And now that's Phillips' confounding creative choices have been revealed. Folie à Deux is left with only 40 million to show for its domestic debut. If there's any good news to take away from its opening weekend, it's the fact that the film did perform better overseas. Internationally, Joker 2 brought in over double what it made domestically with 81.1 million, and that pushes the sequel over the $100 million mark worldwide. But Phillips and Phoenix's reteaming in Gotham City is up against the film's $200 million price tag, not to mention the advertising and marketing costs not included in that inflated production budget. So, just how bad is, however you pronounce it, opening weekend? Well, even 2023's box office train wreck, The Flash, opened stronger during its own debut with 55 million. And every cinephile knows how that sad story ended. So if Phillips and Phoenix truly shared any illusion about Joker 2 breaking the $1 billion mark like its predecessor, this past weekend served as a sobering wake-up call. Joker 2019 opened domestically with 96.2 million to begin its run en route to $1.078 billion globally. Sadly, there's virtually no chance that Joker 2 replicates the original film's $1 billion feat after its disastrous debut. Um, wait,
Not
what?
like the people that liked that first movie.
Well, I dropped a
Plain
little
and
tidbit
simple.
for y'all there. That's just for y'all to read.
I mean,
You see what I
the
put in there?
what little, yeah, but
Okay.
what little bit I did read on it before even the posting of this, um, and just in the years since the release of the first one, somewhere in all of that debate about that film, you can tell that the people that lined up to enjoy this movie
Yeah.
weren't the audience they were hoping to garner.
No.
Not that those individuals are bad or ill-willed or whatever. That's not the point. The point is that like they were trying to gather something else, but they totally didn't get those people. They got the ones that were like, yeah, fuck the city and corruption. When the reality was, it was like,
Well,
no, it's a movie about a guy with pseudo Belbar's affect. Like he's different, he's weird and kooky, and the world don't give a fuck about him. But instead, everyone that
nah,
rallied
man, they
around
felt
his
that first movie.
means to
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone but that's the
They
part
didn't
though.
expect that. They were like, "What? This is weird." He's like an anti-hero. We felt
And
bad for him. Like, yeah, fuck you. Do get what you fucking deserve.
and
And they wanted to
yeah,
address that.
I just don't see how you could take something like that, much less something that garnered such a massive. Because this is one of those movies where if it
It
didn't
made $1
have
billion,
Joaquin
the
Phoenix,
first one.
well, even if it even if it had Joaquin Phoenix, if it didn't take place or have any of the DC hype or Batman connection whatsoever, even if it didn't have that, this is one of those movies that's like it was a very like this type of movie's been made 1 million times because even though we enjoyed it, we all quickly pointed out that this movie was Taxi Driver.
Yeah, like what
Yeah.
was that? Falling down,
Yeah. Falling down.
stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it
that.
was
Like we've seen these
it was
movies,
yeah, a person sick of it all and
and
then
like
doing
fuck it,
something
they go
about it.
postal. Contingency 88.
Mm-hmm. And they like I don't know, just to echo what I said, they did not like that the people who enjoyed those types of movies somehow showed up
Yeah,
for this one when it's like, what'd you expect?
yeah. I did
Yeah.
see where he had full creative control, and there was like no test screenings, no viewings with Warner Brothers. Like he was
And I
real,
mean, they wrote the movie on the spot.
he was real. Like, no, I'm doing what I want to do here. Fuck y'all. You're not gonna change anything. And have y'all seen the video going around where they're at the screening with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga?
No.
All right, so I think this is the first time Joaquin's seen the movie, and it's over, and everyone's standing there clapping, looking at him like, yeah, okay. And Joaquin leans into her, and he goes, "It's terrible." And she's like,
I
"Don't say that.
mean,
No, it's not." And he's like, "It is. That's not the ending that I saw, or the ending
yeah.
that he shot." Like, even he was like, "What the fuck did you do to the movie we made?"
Yeah. I mean,
But
we're
Todd
gonna
Phillips
get
is done with Joker.
the Phillips cut. This is you want to talk about movies that don't matter and should have never existed. The
Another one.
sequel to
This,
Joker. Yeah.
yeah.
I think that Salem's Lot remake makes more sense than them sequelizing Lightning
Yeah.
in a Bottle. Like,
Hangover 4 makes more sense
But I
than
mean, but with that type of argument though, Griffin, that's like me and you both being in a trash can going, dude, what you have in your hands fucking nasty, bro. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we're both in a dumpster.
yeah,
Uh, but like, yeah, but that doesn't make you any less right though. Like the movie was unnecessary. I thought it was unnecessary. Uh, I mean, you could throw whatever argument about this movie at it, and it's gonna stick. Was it a cheap way of cashing in on the Harley Quinn craze again? Yeah. Was it one of those where it's like,
well,
we live in
according
a
to that article there, they
society?
also
Yeah.
wanted to tear that character down that they built up, and
which is
Yeah. They
fuck them. That it's not gonna
which,
work. The first one's still a great movie.
yeah,
It's not gonna work.
which which is hilarious when you think about it because it's like they wanted this, like you were saying before, they wanted this movie to appeal to a very specific type of individual, right? Someone that is traditionally an outsider, someone that is different, someone that isn't made to feel comfortable in normal society. But it didn't appeal to that crowd. It appealed to the complete opposite of the crowd that you're wanting it to appeal to. So what does that say? Right? What message with them trying to break this character down?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to create this symbol for, let's say, an extreme left,
Different
and
people.
they don't adopt that symbol whatsoever, but the right adopts that symbol. So the original symbol that you design for someone, you're going to break that down. What does that say? It means that
but
you eat your young. You turn on your people immediately. What
and
message are you
what's
sending?
exactly and what sucks is that even though you have even though I think your argument's very much valid, I think it's it's kind of like it has like a Russian doll effect because I think the outer shell is not so much as it was. We created a character that maybe the left can rally behind, but the right took it instead. Instead of that type of argument, it was more or less we're going to make a character that's fed up with the way the world works right now. And what people in Hollywood have failed to realize is that the large majority of the world,
Are
left
fed up
and right, is
with the way the
fed up
world's
with the way the world
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the movie was far more all encompassing of society in its critique of society.
Yeah.
Like the movie painted it to where everybody was a piece of shit, and
Yeah.
everyone in the world that went and watched Joker was like, "You're fucking right."
Yeah.
Which is
Wow.
paradoxical if you think about it, but I mean, yeah, we can go down into party lines with it and fucking have that back and forth tug of war,
Yeah.
circle
My
jerk all
right.
day. But the reality is that yeah, people like Hollywood struck a nerve they were not trying to strike.
Yeah. And either way you look at it, what message are you trying to send? And of course, people are like, "No, we're good," because it's like, even if you look at it from that perspective, where it's just like everybody as a whole are fed up. So you're gonna break that character down and to
Yeah.
just have him just completely destroyed on
Give up.
screen, raped. Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here? Why?
What are we doing here?
I honestly, I'm more excited to watch the Joker than Megalopolis because I'm excited to talk about it. I
Oh
already
yeah.
know us watching Megalopolis is going to be like, dude, I wasn't on
Yeah.
enough drugs, but
Whoa.
but the social implications that Joker has is study worthy, right?
Mhm.
So I'm excited to watch it. But dude, of course it's not doing great. I don't, and of course, dude's done with Joker. They should have been done with Joker
Yeah, he's a piece
after
of
the
shit.
first one. Yeah. So
It's the guy that did Euro Trip. We expect.
exactly.
Go make
Scotty
another
doesn't know.
hangover movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. But talking about somebody that's not a piece of shit, they may bring Sam Raimi back to direct the next Doctor Strange movie. According to a newsletter published by Hollywood insider Jeff Schneider, Raimi is close to inking a deal to direct the long awaited Doctor Strange 3. It's important to remember that this information, which was originally posted on the in Snyder's official website, should be considered a rumor until confirmed by a representative of either Marvel Studios or the sequel itself. Snyder teases the following in hopes of receiving more subscribers. In tonight's newsletter, you'll read about Sam Raimi's return to the MCU. But well, they just basically go in to say that, Multiverse of Madness, he did that, and Spider Man 2, and Spider Man 3, and Evil Dead. So, um,
Well, I mean, I just let him do it, man. Multiverse of Madness was a mess of a film, still a silly goose time, and you know, let's get the final Strange movie out there before Cumberbatch is done with Marvel altogether,
yeah.
and just give us one last hurrah with the sorcerer,
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting because it's like, in this newsletter thing, it says read about Sam Raimi's return to the MCU. Let's just put on our theory hats for a second. What if he returns to the MCU, but he doesn't return to the MCU for Doctor Strange? What if he decides that he's going to do the Blade movie?
Or Spider Man.
Or yeah, I was gonna say, what if he has a hand to play in the stepping stone films for Secret Wars?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Because a lot of I mean, his Spider Man's rumored to be one of the stars of the film. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe his iteration of Peter Parker is going to be one of the leaders of the Avengers in that movie. I don't
uh,
know if that's still from the rumor and speculation chamber, but
Well, there was a
Yeah.
whole lot of talk about him coming back
Yeah.
after that last Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
and I mean, but honestly, I'm kind of biased because the Doctor Strange movies, that to me, they're some of my personal favorites in the MCU. They're not better than the really really good ones. I get it, but his particular solo films, I've always, I always have a good time with it.
Yeah.
I will say,
And
like, if they're gonna
I've
do
always
another one,
enjoyed Doctor Strange as the comic character. I've enjoyed the books.
let's keep it to 3.
Yeah, three's
Yeah.
plenty.
I think 3 and done, and then just having Doctor Strange as a character be that kind of linchpin in the MCU that's always there behind the scenes. He shows up occasionally, but doesn't have to be in the limelight
Well,
constantly.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Let him finally take on the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme, and have it to where if Cumberbatch is in the filming area and they're doing a plot where normally Strange would show up in it, yeah, why not have a funny moment where they're like, "Hey, Strange, we could totally use you right now," and he's like, "Look, man, shit's bad. It ain't that bad. You don't fucking need me. Fuck off." Like that's usually how most of the crossovers in the comic books play out. Like
Yeah.
shit is just falling apart. They go to Doctor Strange and he's like, you can still salvage it. You don't need me."
Yeah. Well, I think that his inclusion in how they did Spider-Man was kind of a perfect way of doing Doctor Strange.
I agree.
So, but yeah, it's interesting that, if Rami does come back to the MCU, like, of course, I'd like to see him take on another Strange movie, but also there's a lot of other things that are in the works over there that are having a hard time getting off the ground. And I think that his style
Mm-hmm.
would work like that's why I was saying Blade. It's like I think that Blade would work well for Raimi's style because he's able to capture, what would work in a Blade flick. You
Well,
know what I
and that
mean?
he was like
Well, not
filming,
even
like
that.
his look of movies had that comic book look before comic book movies.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's the classic holding the door back while it's being broke through and the camera's cutting to the bolts in the frame and then the
Yeah.
face. Like we saw it at first in Army of Darkness. Then it happens again, I believe, in like all the Spider-Man movies have some
Like you
shit
could
like
see
that
the
go down.
panels
Yeah.
and the way he
Yeah.
shoots.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could even rework a way to have it to where, with Strange, Blade, Ghost Rider, and a couple other characters, make the MCU's rendition of the Midnight Suns.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Be nice to see Timothy again.
Yeah, it would. Timothy. But speaking of MCU, Jonathan Majors.
Mm.
Let's talk about him for a second. So, disgraced actor Jonathan Majors
What?
continues a career comeback with Briarcliff Entertainment picking up his shelved psychological sports drama, Magazine Dreams. The movie, which follows Majors as an intensely troubled, aspiring bodybuilder, had its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival back in 2023. The movie was met with a positive response, with critics confident that Majors would find himself in the Oscars conversation. Of course, that all came to an end when Majors was accused of, and has since been found guilty of, assault and harassment. This resulted in Majors, who had seen his star rise rapidly after roles in the likes of Lovecraft Country and Creed 3. Majors then joined one of the most successful franchises of all time, the MCU, starring as Kang. The character was intended to be the main villain for the rest of the franchise arc, but the actor found himself fired by the studio following the verdict. Now the actor will return to the big screen, with Deadline reporting that Briarcliff Entertainment has acquired domestic distribution rights to the critically acclaimed film with plans to release it first quarter of 2025. Whether this means that Majors will be brought back into the Hollywood fold, we will have to wait and see. Following its debut last year, Magazine Dreams was intended to be released on December the 8th of 2023 by Searchlight Pictures. After the allegations surfaced, the project was shelved indefinitely and dropped by the distributor. Briarcliff founder Tom Ortenberg confirmed that the deal has been made, releasing a statement in which he praises Magazine Dreams as a visceral experience. Magazine Dreams is a visceral experience that challenges the perceptions of ambition and identity. Elijah's film made a well-deserved splash in Sundance, and Briarcliff is looking forward to taking his story to the big screen across the country in early 2025. At the time Magazine Dreams was met with rave reviews, the movie currently stands at an impressive 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, with Ortenberg adding that Major's performance will be remembered as, quote, one of the most compelling and transformative roles in recent cinema history. Jonathan Majors' transcendent performance as Killian Maddox will undoubtedly be remembered as one of the most compelling and transformative roles in recent cinema history. We are honored to bring this extraordinary work to theaters nationwide, inviting audiences to witness a story that will resonate long after the credits roll. This might bring him back, dude.
Filmed in 24 days.
I
That's
mean,
impressive.
yes.
Yeah, all the reviews it has on IMDb are people that saw it at Sundance, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
This
I'll always support him. Hey, sure, he was charged with a crime. What that crime was, I don't know. He took his phone back. But
yeah.
people make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what the other side always says, right? People make mistakes. They can change.
Yeah.
He's been punished.
Yep. He got fired
Let's
by
not
Disney.
ruin someone's life over a domestic dispute that was settled.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing too, man. By the time this flick comes out, it's going to be, what, close to a year.
Yeah.
Let's say it comes out in March of next year. It's been close to a year. The general zeitgeist, except for the very, very, very loud minority of people, are going to forget that even happened. This also gives them enough time to go to counseling and
Yeah,
make
people
other
can change.
strides. Yeah, exactly. So I think if he plays his cards right, if this does get released and he does the things that he needs to do in order to be rehabilitated, I guess you would
Yeah.
say.
You doing the air quotes?
Yeah, yeah, you can feel him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I think that this will put him back on track. Of course, not going to come back as Kang yet. I do see that happening in the future,
Yeah.
but definitely not coming back as Kang yet. But I think that if the critical response to this is as good as they say, and I would like to know too, can critics go on Rotten Tomatoes and change their scores? Because if it's got an 82% right now, and then they decide to release it nationwide, like theatrically, and then those same people are like, you know what, this guy's a real piece of shit. Don't matter if he was good in this movie or not, and they review bomb it on purpose, then that's not going to help him at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if he does go through counseling, even if he does go through anger management and all this other stuff that, that he should do technically, if they're able to go in there and review bomb it, then it don't fucking matter. So,
Well, I'll always support him.
phenomenal
I like his work.
actor. But we're able to separate the art from the artist,
Yeah,
though,
I've
too.
been doing that my whole life. I mean, there's a lot of people I wouldn't watch if
Yeah,
I'd be, that it's like, oh, that
exactly.
guy's a creep.
Yeah,
Good actor though.
yeah, right. I mean,
I just hope he gets to do that Otis Redding project. 'Cause I think he's perfect for it.
yeah, right. Yeah. Imagine this whole time while he's been going to his, therapy sessions and anger management sessions and stuff, he's been learning how to sing just like him.
I hope so.
Dude, how crazy would that be? But
Hanging
anyway,
out
that's all
with
the news.
what's those twins, the brothers?
Oh, the Teskey
Yeah.
brothers?
Teskey.
Yeah. Is that?
Like they could just let that guy like do the voice and him kind of
Yeah,
do, you know?
exactly. Yeah. God, that song, those guys are anyway. I
Sheesh.
ain't even gonna get started on that. But yeah, that's all the movie news that I saw over the past couple weeks. I know we were out last week because, more pressing things were happening.
Yeah. Bad weather.
Bad weather, debates. So, but we're here, guys, and I'm ready for trailers.
I'm trying to. Okay, that's not right.
Is that rain?
Um,
Are we having some TD?
well, it's not. It's not working like it normally does. Like it's not giving me the thing to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in it.
Can you join? Can you join mine?
No.
Whoa.
Why not? Let me try this. Where's the. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep. Just had to leave, come back in.
All right. I made you the host.
Weird. Yeah, I wasn't ready. There was another thing there. I wasn't. You caught me off
Oh
guard.
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm
my
good
bad.
on not doing that.
Yeah. You know.
I'm hurrying.
It's all gravy. I'm off tomorrow, but we've got an exterminator coming out again. So we got to be out of the house by 9,
Mm,
and we got to pull everything away from the walls. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to
yeah.
go through the whole rigmarole over here. So
They got to do it again?
yeah, they said that they were going to do 2 to 3 more
Ah,
treatments, and then they'll come out quarterly after that. But it's only like $110 a quarter,
yeah, that ain't bad.
and if we have any type of pests between now and the next time that we have a scheduled appointment, that they'll come out and treat whatever the pests are free of charge.
That's a W.
Yeah. So if we have an ant problem, they'll come out and deal with it. If we have a flea or a tick problem, they'll come out and deal with it. Wasps, hornets, whatever, they'll come and deal with it for free. And I'm like, you can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? So it's bad. You know that we're getting older when I'm like, oh, they're going to take care of the
Yeah.
house for $111 every quarter?
Sign me the
Sheesh.
fuck up.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. It's bad.
All right, I got it all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
There we
824.
go. Is that Nicole
It
Kidman?
is. She
Okay.
doesn't age.
No,
Being a CEO means being a collaborator.
Mm,
I never forget
And
my
nurturer.
Nicole.
that's
But
why.
you have to be at work.
Everyone is
Look
just
like we got
waiting for me to
Antonio
buckle under
Banderas.
pressure.
Is now a good time to introduce the interns?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hey, how'd you get that dog to calm down?
I gave it a cookie.
You always have cookies on you.
Why do you want one?
Mm.
Who decided to make me a part of that mentor program? You have 7 minutes.
So, How did it start?
I see myself as a.
Power-hungry personality?
You think that's what I am?
I think you like to be told what to do. Sorry, I didn't mean to. That was incredibly inappropriate.
Your behavior is unacceptable.
Is it?
50 Shades of Grey kind of vibe.
We're gonna
going
do
on here.
this.
Yeah.
We need to set some rules that you and I both agree on.
Set some rules.
Did you order this?
Starting with, I tell you what to do and you do it.
Yep.
And if I don't?
Get on your knees.
No. What?
Get on your knees now.
I'm.
Is that what you want?
You're very young. I don't want to hurt you.
Hurt me.
I think he'll be
I have
okay.
power over
Yeah.
you. Because I could make one call and you lose everything. Does that turn you on when I say that?
Who's this guy? He's like a nobody.
Oh, hey, you forgot your laptop at the office.
Mom, can Mary sleep over?
I genuinely.
Oh, he showed up at
believe
her
women
house,
of power
dude.
would behave differently.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
You seem liberated.
I've never experienced anything like this.
Good girl.
Oh, his name is Harris Dickinson.
He's British?
Whoa.
It's a British name.
He lives in London.
Tramped all the way from Minnesota.
All right, we back that up. No ad, huh?
No BMWs yet.
He's
Is
an actor,
this,
writer, and director living in London.
Oh, okay.
Dickinson.
Dickinson.
This is the Bob Dylan.
Look at me, man.
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Muhabib.
You tramped all the way from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Why is that? I wanted to catch a spark.
If you're traveling in the North Country Fair.
I say no one wants to hear what a kid wrote last month.
Well, I like your songs.
Where the winds hit heavy on the borderline.
Who wrote this? He did.
Remember me.
How about that Joan Baez, Sam Jackson.
Yeah, right.
Sings pretty. Maybe a little too pretty.
Your
songs are like an oil painting at the dentist's office.
You're kind of an asshole, Bob.
If you go with flake storm, when the rivers freeze and summer ends.
For anyone who's gonna hold your attention on stage, you have to kind of be a freak. You can be beautiful or you can be ugly, but you can't be plain.
Keep her from the howling winds.
When's the new album out?
Soon. 200 people in that room, and each one wants me to be somebody else. They should just let me be.
Let you be what?
Whatever it is they don't want me to be.
Then you. What are we thinking?
They don't look bad. I mean, it's Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan.
I think they're allowed to make that movie now because he sold his catalog.
Didn't he sell his soul?
I mean, did you see that interview with him where he was like,
Yeah.
I made a deal a long time ago to make it right. You know? Like, these guys like, what are you talking about? He was like, oh, man. I don't know how I wrote this song.
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Why didn't they go with the original? Oh shit.
Right? Oh, he's breaking out with this one. It's a lot of money. Damn. So what you about? Creepy.
Yeah, looks good. Good song choice.
Yeah.
I wish, I've listened to that song so many times.
Yep. Right
But
here,
yeah.
dude.
Is
Robbie
this
Williams.
the
Yeah.
dude? When I saw this trailer, I was like, "What in the fuck?"
I was in it was like 7 in the morning. I'm laying in bed on Twitter, like, what the fuck is this? You know?
Yeah, me too, dude. I was
Like,
like, "Wait a minute."
why does it
Yeah,
look like that?
yeah. Have you seen this, Trav?
No, I have not. But
Okay.
I've seen still like screenshots, but I haven't seen the trailer.
I mean, it looks
You remember
something.
Robbie Williams, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the guy ripping his skin off in that music video.
Yeah.
He's in that British pop group. In London. Sound like school's out for summer. Interesting way to do a biopic.
Yeah,
He's like, we got to
it
one up
looks.
the Elton one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It
Yeah.
looks very.
He's like, what if I was a chimp? It's like, okay. Bet.
I want to watch it. Just
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I
I'll be
mean?
seeing that.
Yeah.
It's Florida Man.
Is this got Sturgill in
I
it?
don't know. It's not Florida Man. It's Florida Man. Like,
Okay. So is this a Hurricane Bob?
too soon. About 3 days too soon. That sounds like I want my stapler.
Yeah.
I'm in. Oh, this is like Drunk History, but Florida Man.
Okay.
Hilarious. Oh my God. They picked the right person to play her. Hell yeah.
Okay,
Red
Simon.
Rocket himself.
Yeah.
Made out of duck dick. I can't wait to watch that.
That looks crazy in a good way. It's for the man.
Remember we were talking about this
Yes.
a few weeks back, and they dropped a trailer. So this is like prime New Zealand or Australia.
Okay.
This will probably be like a contender.
Yeah.
You know, like nah. Those fucking TikToks where they sing the songs. You know who'd be a good office boss?
Who?
Fucking what's an eviction notice?
Oh,
He'd be
oh,
great.
yes.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, that's dry. I got a dry rub on it.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell?
Oh, we got a little Brucey
He's
action
back.
here.
Bruce.
Oh, snap. That's fucking creepy.
Oh, he's a cop. I'm in.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Yes. Is that the mom from Modern Family?
I think so.
Sound like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her. Happy Place. It's not Dylan Campbell. It's McLovin.
It's a series.
11 episodes. I'll watch anything with Bruce Campbell in it.
Yeah, same.
Finally got an ad.
Got an ad. Yeah.
Is it Xbox?
Yep.
You can make me watch it all. Cool. Got a little Nick Frost action.
Okay.
By the way, that movie, remember that we watched the trailer for? It's like the sitcom.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
people pissed about that. By the
It's
way,
supposed to be out.
yeah,
Like,
people are mad.
Digital.
Yeah,
What are they mad about?
they're mad because it's like he's like he plays a stereotypical
Stupid dad?
Christian, yeah,
Oh.
Christian dad that breaks bad and like just goes
That's
fucking
something to
wild.
me.
Exactly, right.
Have
But
they
yeah,
seen
people are
Shaun of the
mad.
Dead?
Probably not, honestly.
Okay. It's wild that it's even on their radar. It's the people that are upset with the monster can.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm talking about?
It's got 3 6s
They're
on
like,
it.
it's demons. And it's like, it's just an energy drink. Oh. Nick Frost making a comeback.
Yeah.
Oh, it's something he made. Oh. Let's say Tusk.
Yeah.
Get up out of that chair. They're on holiday. He's on holiday, isn't he? I feel like On Holiday would have been a better name
Yeah.
than Getaway.
It looks good though.
Yeah.
It's like Wicker Man comedy though, but like intentionally funny.
It's
Not
nice
the
to see
bees.
Nick Frost. We need him now.
Yeah, yeah. More than ever.
Yeah.
More than ever, dude.
The new Wick.
Ballerina.
This is the spinoff.
Ana de Armas.
Mm.
A double nut punch?
Mm. Standing nut punch. That guy's dead.
Yeah.
How'd they do that? Okay. Oh, this is what happened before The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Explains everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's kicking ass. Dude, that TV, the international was really good. Like, it's kind of better than John Wick.
I don't think that's how that would work in real
No.
life.
No. The fire would not burn the water back, you know?
Yeah.
Was this one wick? Just like, you can't let him be dead. It really takes away from it to bring him back, man.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
know.
like that. I bet you never thought you'd see this kind of movie again.
Who is
Oh,
that?
City Slicker himself.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I've never seen Billy Crystal in something that wasn't a comedy. Holy shit. It's Rosie Perez. Damn it, Billy. It's got a damn Stephen King kind of vibe going on here.
Yeah.
Taxes. Is that Roy Orbison? I think it is. I might check that out.
That little boy's him.
Oh.
He's got dementia. He's reliving his past.
He killed his wife?
Yeah. Probably unknowingly. Is this the last trailer?
There's two. This is the second to last.
Okay. Is the next one a
Yes.
what you call it? Okay. I've got an honorable mention trailer that I want to throw on there.
Hell yeah.
Because I saw this on Twitter. And when I saw this trailer, I was like, dude, we have to pod this movie. And I'll send it to you in a
Is
in a
it the
video.
billionaire that made the James Bond movie?
No.
Oh, I saw this trailer. Yeah. Here's what
No.
sucks is I was trying to do the trailers, but it's been always go in there and put 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it by the week, and it's been 2 weeks, and it was hard to get everything. And this didn't come up. This was just 4 days ago. But yeah, I saw this on Twitter. I'm
Dude,
down to watch this. Yeah.
Yes.
It looks wild.
Right. Yeah.
I thought
Right.
you were going to pull the same one. There was this
What's it about?
drugs. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's
It's
about drugs.
it's a foreign. You'll see,
It is a
Trev.
foreign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Is this fucking?
It's Stavros.
Is this Davros
It's
here?
Stavi.
Stabby baby. All right.
Yeah. I've been holding on to this for 2 weeks. It's a cult. Check that aspect ratio.
Oh shit.
He's hilarious. What's the neighbor on Aquatine? Carl?
Carl, yeah.
He's live action Carl. Stavi.
Now I really can't see anything but Carl from Aquitaine.
The way that he's standing there, like a man child. What the fuck's Tyler Childers doing in this movie?
I know, right?
That's gonna be a silly goose time. All right.
Okay, this is gonna be good.
There's some crazy shots in this movie.
Yes.
I think I saw in the post that it's all one shot.
Yeah, it's one continuous
Yeah.
take.
The whole movie. Which is wild. Yeah. Podlocked.
Look at this shot right here. The eyes.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
There's some creepy shit in here. Yeah, I remember that was creepy.
I'd give it a shot.
It looks interesting, right?
Yeah.
One
Well,
shot.
lock it
dude.
down.
Yeah.
The whole movie. Like,
My thing is, I wonder how true that is.
yeah,
If it's
because that's kind of hard
edited
to
one.
pull off.
Well, I mean, yeah, and typically they're not one continuous shot. They're just really,
There's not a lot of cuts.
yeah.
All right, last one here. You know what time it is.
Oh, I know.
It's a worldwide event. Prestige. Worldwide.
Why are their name tags so green? Look-
The saturation is cranked up
yeah, dude.
for
what-
sure.
What?
Like I had a pet pig. Mad Max. Have we seen this?
I don't remember.
Okay, I've seen it then. I had it bookmarked. I run across them and save them. I'm like, ooh. It's Mad Max in India with a little bit of lost connection. Okay, I'm back. With a little bit of
Is
Need
it-
for Speed.
Chrome shotgun.
Why does his voice sound like that?
Don't teach father how to fuck. Was that what he was saying?
Uh,
The
ugh.
fuck is?
Violence.
Definitely violence, dude.
All right. Kinds of kindness. I'm excited
Okay.
to watch this.
Yeah, same. And the
I
next
think you
episode of
guys-
Penguin.
I think you guys will like it.
I saw a few clips on Twitter and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Nobody knows.
I couldn't tell you that.
Yargos know, but nobody else.
The guy was like, what kinds of kindness are you, though? I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Checks in the
What
mail.
kind?
Flag is raised.